Hello and welcome to Kittrick Farms. We're back with another episode of Elm Creek, and today we're gonna be doing, I think, a little bit of a lot of small jobs. So we finished with the bulk of our harvest here. However, before we move on to the final harvest, which is our soybeans, we're going to need to do a little bit of miscellaneous work here around the farm. I need to spread some lime. I need to do some hard plowing here. Some of our fields actually require plowing, and we need to pick up a roller at some point. I don't know if we're going to do all of this stuff today here. I think we're going to take this rock picker up to the store though and sell this thing off. We don't need this anymore, and see if we can at least pick up a plow of some kind. I've got a couple of mods installed here. I'm going to take a look at them once we get up to the store and figure out what we can afford. I'm tempted to lease the equipment, except I think we might need to plow up our soybean field. Let's take a look at the map. So it looks like it's actually fields 44, 45, and 46 are the only ones that need plowing, plus this little strip in between 48 and 49. So maybe we'll end up just leasing this instead of purchasing it. So let's get up to the store and see what we've got. First off, let's go ahead and sell off this rock picker here. If we head on over here, we can sell. Yes. It doesn't tell me how much it's gonna sell for. Oh, maybe it's this value here, 19,994. Very good. And then if we come in here to plows, I've got this 2720 Ripper. I believe this is a mod from Rooster Mods. Converted this, I believe. Not quite sure. It's not the most expensive piece of tillage. I'm honestly half tempted to just take out a little bit more of a loan and buy this, but it's only $2,000 to lease, so I think we're gonna go for the lease. We've only got a few fields here that we need to tackle, and this is gonna work out for us. I think this tractor should have enough horsepower to pull this. I believe this is set up as a 200 horsepower implement, so I'm thinking this is going to work out for us. Unfortunately, it looks like the hydraulic hoses are not going to hook up here with manual attach at least. That's all right. I'm pretty sure this is going to work out for us. We'll find out when we get to the field. So we're here in the field. I think we're gonna plow these two fields up first. With an implement so long, it's actually gonna be kind of hard to do headland passes here, just because there's not a lot of room over there by that other fence to turn around either. So we're gonna go ahead and get our GPS turned on. I forgot we got GPS installed on this tractor, and I'm gonna go ahead and just start plowing here. We'll create an AB line. I should probably drop us down a few gears. We're bogging pretty good. Lock in that AB line. There we go. Hopefully the auto width is going to work on this implement. We'll find out here in a minute. We can turn on the Alt-L now. Turns on the lines automatically, so we can kind of see where we're at. Looks good to me. And yeah, it's going good. We got some pretty heavy dust coming off of the back of this, which honestly feels kind of realistic. I know when we did tillage in on the farm, we had a lot of dust coming up off of things, so loving it. Now, I probably could have done this field at a bit of an angle, but I wasn't paying attention, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump right back into this. We're gonna take them as straight rows. I'm gonna skip a few here just to make turning a little bit easier for us, and we'll see how this goes. Normally, I would go every other row with something like this. We just don't have a lot of room for turning around here on the ends of this field. I'm kind of curious as we come up to the end here, can I stop right before we get to that fence? Looks good. And we'll try and turn right back in here, take the row next to the outside, and see if we can just keep skipping over these two rows. We should be practically to the other side of the field after a few passes here. So we've made a couple of rounds here, and I have to say I'm actually kind of liking the in-cab mode when I'm just sitting here driving and using GPS. I find it a little bit easier to figure out how to get back into my track when I'm in cab than when I'm out of cab for some reason. So I'm digging this for a change. We might have to get that realistic cab view mod that I saw in the mod hub today. Get that installed and play with that a little bit. Maybe we'll have to try and do a series where we do it a little bit more more realistically, and we try to stay in cab a little bit more. I'm not promising anything. Sometimes it makes the videos a little bit difficult to do, but I'm having a lot of fun with this tonight, so this is, I don't know, it's different, it's kind of cool, and so we're playing with it here. Oh, we kind of stopped dead with it in the ground there, not what we wanted to do, and we almost took out this poor person's house. Whoopsies. So I'm gonna see if I can, whoops, get back onto a skip row here. That looks just about perfect. So while this is a long implement and it's fairly narrow working width, this is a realistic piece of equipment. I've actually used one of these once before, and so much like anything that has a pretty long length like this, it's always good to skip some rows so that you're not trying to turn quite so tight. There's also some other benefits to doing that when you're doing tillage like this, but we won't get into all of that today. Here we go. Looking good, looking good. So this will let us turn back into that far row when we get down to the end, and then skip right into this row next to us. So we'll be perfect as we get these two fields wrapped up here. Oops, trying to figure out which way to look so we can raise up our implement as we go across the driveway. Oh, we're missing the field. We'll have just a bit to clean up back there. But all in all, this Magnum's been working out great for this tillage. We should probably have shifted over here, be a little bit more realistic, but it's farm sim, and we're getting the job done here. I do like, even when you're kind of in automatic mode or you're in a gear, like how the engine bogs up and down and the gears kind of shift around on you. It just feels so much better. The noise is so much better. Dig in the new farm sim, digging it. All right, we've cleaned up a few of the straggly bits in these fields. There's a couple small little tiny pieces, but I don't know. No farmer I've ever worked with has ever gotten it perfect with something like a ripper. So we're gonna move on to this other field over here. I think this was the only other field that needed to be plowed. It's such a tiny little field, but we're gonna jump in here and get it done. It's almost too small for the implement. I mean, by the time you get the tractor and the implement here on the field, we're what, almost a third of the way of the field? Ridiculous. Anyway, it's got to get done, so let's get to it. We'll realign our GPS track here along the edge and see what we can do. At least we've got just a little bit more room here to spin around. Oh man, these trees are something else though, and we forgot to lower the implement. We jumped all the way over here. I was distracted looking at all these deer in the woods right next to the farmyard. 4 deer. It's crazy how much wildlife there is on this map. It's nice though. I don't mind it so far. I do wish the deer were like different sizes at different times of the year and stuff, but I'm not complaining. It's a cool addition to the game, I think. Now, I don't know what happened on that other pass. That's definitely not driving straight, so I don't think we had GPS on while we were over there. That's all right. We're just trying to clean up a few of these odd areas on the GPS track, get everything kind of knocked out here on the edges, and well, then we're just going to be doing the middle parts too. Now, what I'm seeing here is I'm plowing instead of, like this isn't a subsoiler, it is a plow. And I'm looking at these rocks here and I'm wondering, did we finally get some big rocks on the other part of this field? So these are smaller rocks, but when we were over here just a second ago, I swear the rocks looked a little bit bigger in one of these piles. So let's see here. Does that not look like it's a little bit bigger of a rock? Maybe I'm mistaken, but some of these rock piles seem a little bit bigger than they used to be. I don't know. We're gonna find out because we just sold the rock picker, so that would be a perfect time to get bigger rocks, and we'll see what happens when we get a roller, if I can roll all of these rocks, but I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. At least there's some variation, because I felt like last time I was looking at the rocks, they all look like they were the same exact pile of rocks, and these actually look like we've got a little bit of variation, at least in what the rock piles look like, which is a welcome improvement. I don't know if something changed here, or we're just paying a little bit closer attention to it now because we've done it a few times, but either way, looking good. All right, we are officially done with this. We're gonna pick up this little straggly bit right here, and there's one on the other side of the field just because it's going to irk me if we don't. It's such a small field. We can't have these giant scraggly bits. I do like how much more the tractor bounces when you're in a plowed field versus a field that hasn't yet been plowed. Nice touch, nice touch. I swear these rocks suddenly look bigger now. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. You guys tell me. I don't think we're going to get to rolling today, but it's just standing out to me. It's irking me. So next up, we've got to go across this bridge here, or creek here. I gotta figure out where the divide between these fields used to be and plow that up. So it looks like it was a diagonal from approximately where I am now to across the way. So we're gonna try and just set this down and get an A-B track going here at an angle. Pop this open. It looks like we're right on the edge of it. So we're gonna turn back into this and do a couple of passes here, and I think we'll get it. I'm gonna back up here though to make sure we get all of it. We kind of missed the edge of the field. I don't want to have to come back a bunch of times here. There we go. I figure a strip on either side and then one back down the middle ought to just do it. Yep, we're picking up just a sliver on this side as well now. So I think we've managed to line up on this perfect. We probably could have got it in 2 passes if I'd... Oh my goodness. Well, there's another crash counter. We probably could have got it in 2 passes if I had been, super picky about where we started and tried to get it lined up in the middle. But let's be honest, trying to do this blind was hard enough as it was. So let's just be happy we managed to get close to it at all, I'm thinking. Now, I'm making a mess of things here. We got to get on our GPS track, actually. Put it in forward and then lower our implement. Helps when you do all the things in the right order. So now looking at this, it is making it desired lime, which makes sense. And yeah, I think we're gonna be good to go here. We do want to get the lime spread on these fields, and then we'll do traditional tillage. We've got that Great Plains disc sitting up at the yard that we actually own. So I think what we're gonna do is once we get the soybeans off, we're gonna lime all these fields, and then we'll hit it with tillage here in the fall, and possibly put down some more crops here, because a lot of the crops we were growing are winter crops. Maybe we'll do canola across our fields here and double down on that. It seems to be a little bit less work and a high profit crop here for us. So either way though, I think we finished up the tillage here for today. So there's no sense hanging on to this lease anymore. We'll go ahead and get this ripper returned and check back in here in a few moments. So with that lease returned, I was taking a look at what we've got left to do here, which is not a lot until we can get the lime spread, and the lime can't get spread until we can harvest the soybeans, and so that's really looking at moving time forward. But while I was getting ready to do that, I decided to check the grain prices here, and our wheat is at an optimal price with the Goldcrest Valley sell point, as is our canola here. And so having 2 different crops able to be sold to that same sell point, I think is going to make it worth it to me to lease the train here. And so I'm going to go ahead and fill this up. We're going to run both of these crops up there, and then once I've got all the crops sitting in the train yard elevator there to be able to be unloaded into the train, we're gonna lease that train and fill it up and ship the crop off. My understanding, talking to some people, is that it doesn't cost us the full $1,000 to lease the train. It's $1,000 an hour, and so if that's true, we won't need the train for a full hour here. So hopefully the premium on delivering those crops to Goldcrest Valley is not going to be astronomical, especially if we haul all of our grain up to the elevator ahead of time. And really, it's such a small amount of grain here, it's just going to be the 2 loads. So let's give it a shot and see how this pays off. So we're up here at the elevator. I believe this is the dump point for storing on the train. So we're gonna go ahead and pull through here. I know I've sold here once before, but I've quite honestly already forgot. So if we put this crop right in here. It is showing up again on our menu in here, so I think that means that we've got it going to the right place. So we're gonna run this all the way back up to the farm here, grab our canola, and then we'll get that train headed out this way. Got the canola all loaded up here. It's an even smaller load. It looks like 4,000 liters of canola. It's almost not worth the gas to drive all these crops up here, but we've got to sell them at some point, and I'm not going to hold on to them for a full year. We need the money. Speaking of money, we should probably pay down our loan before we forget about it, but I'm going to wait until after we sell these crops. I'm kind of curious to see where we end up here in total after we sell off these crops. We'll take a look at the finance screen. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this canola in here. While that's dumping, I think we're safe to run over here and grab the train. We're not going too far away. I keep finding all of these collectibles. One of these days, I'm going to have to actually go and collect all the collectibles. I've probably located a minimum of 20 of them at this point. So I rented the train by pushing R, and it says the train is going to arrive soon. 3.6 kilometers. All right, I guess we'll go get some lunch and wait for it to show up. Oh, it looks like we're finally arriving here. The arms are going down, the lights are on. Oh, there it is, there it is. Almost ran me over. I don't know if it's gonna stop on its own, so I'm trying to hop into it here. There we go. All right, let's back this guy up here and see if I can figure out how to open the cover. We're gonna push N, there we go. And we're gonna fill this with our canola first. There we go. Now we're gonna pull forward one. I think I can dump grain into this one. We got our wheat in that one. And then I think all we gotta do is run this guy right back off the map. It's gonna go to Goldcrest Valley. We do want to sell, and we're all good to go. $2,000 vehicle leasing costs. I think that also includes the ripper that we just had. So there we go. We are all good to go on that. Our grain is sold. We're now sitting at just shy of $32,000 in the bank. If we pop into our finance screen here, we can see our grand total of leasing costs for harvest here was $20,000. That includes the combine, the ripper, everything that we leased. We sold some stuff for $19,000. I think that was our rock picker probably. We've got some maintenance costs. We sold some bales. We sold some grains. We paid some workers, and we've got some interest on our loans. So in total, we came out $12,000 ahead for the day, which is a pretty good spot to be, though if we're being honest, that's attributed in a large part to selling a piece of equipment, and we're gonna have to a minimum lease a roller here at some point. So, you know, honestly, we're not quite ahead yet, but I feel a lot better about where we're at now, knowing that we've got a bunch more grain in the bins to sell when the price is better there. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our loan down here as much as we can, get back down to this $85,000, and hopefully keep our loan interest payments low. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap up the episode here today, and next time we'll be checking back in to knock out that soybean harvest and probably spread some lime. That's all for today. Kedrick out.